Hello guys, what's up? This is Murtaza. Welcome to A Coder's Journey. This is the next episode of my clean code in C# tutorial. And in the last video, we started talking about the importance of formatting our code. And I hope you have already watched that. If that's not the case, please make sure you do, because as I have told you before, what we talk about in each episode is, very related to what we have already talked about, in our previous videos. So make sure you watch the last video. We talked about the importance of formatting, and in this video I'm going to talk about a very important principle, the principle of proximity, when you want to write clean code. Now, according to the principle of proximity, we need to put the different code elements that are related to each other next to each other, closer to each other. To give you just an analogy, when you go to a restaurant, for example, people who sit at the same table are more related to one another than people who are sitting at different tables, right? So when people sit at the same table, we kind of assume that these people must be related to one another. So, we can use this in our code bases as well. So we can, for example, declare the methods which are related to one another next to each other. For example, in this person class, right? Suppose I want to, for example, take in the age, or let me tell you this. For example, I want to create a method, and I want to allow the user to switch, for example, a very simple config, if you will, in my class on or off. For example, here I'm going to create a private field of bool, and I'm going to say, for example, first name comes first, right? And then I'm going to set this to true, and then I'm going to create a method, right? I'm going to create a method. I'm going to say this method is called a print, or I'm going to say set print name printing option, and then I'm going to say bool. I'm going to say bool, right? And then I'm going to say this equals this, right? So I want to allow the user to set whether when I want to show the information, right? I want to allow the user to kind of select whether the first name should come first or not. So here I'm going to say, for example, if first name comes first, return this, right? Else return last name, and here first name, right? So as you can see, this method, right, is working with a field, with a bool field, which I have declared here. But it is better to put this declaration here, because you know what? Because these are very related to one another. I know that some people suggest that, for example, at the top of your classes, first you should declare your constants, then fields, then properties, then methods, and so on. That's one route to go. The other route is to just, group your code elements based on their semantics, so semantically. Here you have, a field of bool, which is going to be used in this specific method, so it makes sense to put them close to one another. So this is the principle of proximity, which says that the different things, the different code elements, like methods, variables, fields, properties, which are related to one another, which are closely related, should be put next to one another or close to one another. In the past, there used to be a practice according to which, for example, in a method, first you would declare all the variables that were going to be used in that method, and then you would start writing the code of that method. I think that's not a good idea because, again, it is against the principle of proximity. It is better to, start writing the code of the method, and as you go along and you need a variable, declare that variable closest to the code where it is going to be used. So do not, use the kind of outdated practice where we would declare all the variables of our method at the top and then we would start, writing the code. I don't think that's a good idea because, as I told you, it violates the principle of proximity. It's better to start coding, and whenever you need a variable, just declare it and then use it, close to its declaration. Remember the principle of proximity. It is very important. It really helps you write better code, cleaner code, and easier to understand. Your code would be easier to understand. Just suppose, for example, you declare your variables here, then you start writing code, and then, for example, the variable that you have declared here is going to be kind of used here. So, for example, on this line, and then what I have to do is I have to, scroll up, and then I need to, refresh my memory. So what was this variable about? What was it using? What was it doing, right? And then I need to, again, come back to the code and read it. But when the variable is declared close to where it is used, it is less mental load for the reader, and also, for you as the developer. So always keep the principle of proximity in mind and try to group, the different code elements like methods, variables, events that are related to one another, close to each other, put them closer to one another. It really helps. Thank you so much, guys, for watching this video. I hope you've enjoyed it. This was another video of my, Clean Code in C# series. If you've enjoyed it, make sure you give this video a like, share it with a friend. Also, if you aren't subscribed to A Coder Journey, please make sure you do. It's really, important. It helps me a lot. And also, if you've got anything to say, just head down to the comment section. You can write something there, and, we will get into a talk. Stick around for my next video over this, the topic of formatting our code, and then we will move on. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.